What's up, you guys? So we are back at it, and we are in the heart of the city on this lake right here in beautiful Central Florida. Look at this lake. It's absolutely beautiful. Crystal clear water. In most parts of the lake, it's got hydrilla, eelgrass, reeds on the bank. We're gonna start shallow, see if we can find any fish spawning, see if we can see any beds. It's April, the first week of April. The full moon is tomorrow. I really think we're probably late for this lake. But we'll start shallow, then we'll move out and see if we can find fish staging. Maybe they're feeding up shallow. You just never know this time of year. You got to check all depths. But shallow is the first place we want to start. I'm seeing bait on the surface. The wind is going to be low today, actually. 10 to 15 mile an hour overall, but it's not going to start till early to mid-afternoon. So that's good. It bodes well for this lake because when it gets windy, it's hard to get out of it. It's got low banks. I've been here probably 3 times, I believe, and I haven't been here in a year. But I know there's good ones in here, especially if you can find them on the bank. There's a lot of deep water, so we'll start shallow, see if we can find some, see if we can get on some, then we'll move out some of the transition areas and then potentially move into really deep water. I don't want to do that. Maybe even drop shotting around some of these bridge pilings. I don't know yet, but we'll go out here and see. But my starting lineup is pretty consistent for me. Chatterbait, I got a Senka with a lightweight, I got a worm with a heavier weight, trap, swim bait, and we'll start there. Might throw some crankbaits out. We just got to see what's going on. But I'm excited. We'll see what we can do out here, see what's going on, and let's see if we can catch some. We'll see you in a minute. So my trolling motor went out on that last trip. It was barely moving and all that wind. Went back to the house. Put it on the charger. It was reading 7.8 volts, I believe. Took it in. Battery's bad. I had it 3 months. They replaced it. I'm a little worried that the counter battery might go out, because typically when one battery goes bad, the other one goes bad too. But I didn't run it another day on that bad battery. I took it in and they replaced it. It's kind of crazy. This is the second batteries I've gotten replaced. There's a lot of grass up here. Ton. Don't think these fish are going to be shallow. I don't like the way this thing is swimming. There he is. Alright, swimming across the grass. Look how clear that water is, guys. It's super clear. Not a big one, but it's the first one. And he's skinny. Whew, bro. Look how skinny that fish is, guys. Holy cow. Just throwing that speed worm around this, it's kind of a grass flat contour. Runs. We're right around where it turns back. He's pretty shallow. I'm in 3.5 feet right here. So he came out of the grass and got it. Tells us a little something. There's a lot of little pockets and holes in here. So it's a flat point. I don't know if you want to call it a contour. It comes out. Shallow, slow taper point comes out, and then it runs right back up. Alright, let's roam around a little bit. We're going to graph around and see if we can find any bait wads. There he is. Oh, okay. Thinks he's big. Thinks he's big, don't you, buddy? Saw you flick my little Senko off. That might have been the bass I saw at about 13 feet that the grass came out and then it went, and there was a little bend in it, and it looked like a bright spot. He'd be sitting down there. Long, skinny male, but I mean, he's not. He doesn't look like he's doing something. Looks like he's in the process of healing up. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Good old Senko. Second cast. Oh, that's a good one. Stay on, stay on, stay on, stay on, stay on. Oh. Broke my damn line. Look at that. Mother. What in the... He must have swallowed it. I just retied. Son of a... Oh. And that's broke, dude. That's not at the knot. He must have swallowed it. Damn. It's all matted too. I think I got 14 on this. And I felt him. I was in the grass and I felt it go. I felt a little twitch and it was like slack. And I was like, it either fell or something picked it up. I couldn't even move that fish though. He was doing this. It was really weird. That sucks, bro. I know he was going right here. There he is. Oh, that's a turtle. Oh, that may have been what I had. Maybe. Maybe I had a turtle. It's the way it was swimming sideways. Okay, maybe. I think I snagged that turtle though. I bet you it was a turtle. Alright, we don't need to stay here forever. I think it was a turtle. There's a turtle right there. I bet he's got my lure. Yeah, it was just a weird way he was pulling. I saw like side. I think it was a turtle. That's what we're going to tell ourselves so we can get over it. And move on. Little. I need that little. Bigger than I thought he was. Wow. Okay, buddy. Got you, buddy. It's a decent 2-pounder. Pound and a half. All scarred up. Look at that. Jacked up there. Jacked up here. That's in the grass. There's one. Look at that. There's a bass there. They're just roaming around this grass, man. Look how clear that water is. It's insane. Come here, buddy. Just tugging on it, wasn't he? This water's so clear, I'm considering going to watermelon, but it's dark too, and we're getting bit. And sometimes I feel like that, I mean, sometimes that's what they want, and they're not really telling me that. But sometimes I feel like that color meshes so much with the grass, it just doesn't really stand out. Seems like they're hitting it in the holes in the real thick grass. They're not hitting it on the outside. First one I got hit it on the outside. There's little bare spots in this grass. You can see it's just, I mean, it's like literally a foot or so under the surface, probably up 2 feet. And then you can see dark spots where it stops. I think that's where you're getting them, where they're coming from. Let's put on a different color. Color change. Throw this watermelon around. Watermelon red. There he is. Get in here. All right, we're gonna fish the pads. Let's go. Let's go. Wow. Okay. Little wind-blown pad action. Got that little joker. Bloody tail. Split bloody tail. Let's go. Couple flips with that watermelon red. We might be on to something. These pads are actually in deeper water. Most of the pads around here are in really shallow water. So this really would be a perfect place with this water temp to spawn around pads. There he is. There he is. No way. Look where I just hooked that fish. I hooked him on the head. That's a first. Look where I hooked that fish. On his head. How do you even do that? Dude, what were you doing? Sorry, you probably got a headache, don't you, boy? That was crazy. What were you doing, headbutting it? He's a headbanger. He is a headbanger. It's 2 in the pads. I almost gave up on it. Tilapia bed. I don't think they're spawning, I just think they're in there. Because it's a great place to be. As long as you got 6 to 8 feet of water in these pads, perfect spot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are out. I'm tapping out for the day. Go home, eat something good, hopefully. So, challenging day, I'd say. It's been a while since I've been able to get on a consistent pattern. I mean, you pick up a couple here, pick up a couple there. You feel like you're about to get onto something, and it just doesn't completely pan out. So let's see, got that first one on a speed worm over shallow grass on a I guess a slow tapering point or probably maybe a sandbar, but it was full of grass. This lake temp's like almost 80. It's at 79. It's you got grass out to 16 feet. Probably got 8, 9, or between 8 and 10 foot visibility on it. I mean, you could see fat bass roaming. The hydrilla, like I said, came out to 16, but in 10 feet, it was right almost at the surface. So got that one, and it was probably in 3 feet. reeling it, no more. Then I went edges, and that grass was just under the surface, and then it would drop off, and it was kind of in different depths between like 10, 13. The edge was on 16. So I think I got one actually deep on the edge, and the other ones were kind of in holes up in the shallower, but it was probably 10 feet. Moved around, and that was at probably a steeper bank, because I noticed I was probably in 16 throw in, and then as I moved laterally, I was in 18. So it had a steeper decline. Moved up into some pads, 6 to 8 feet, super clear water. It was the only pads that I found that were in that depth that were not really only that depth. The rest of them were pretty shallow, or when you got in them, they were completely submerged or surrounded with thick hydrilla. I mean, the hydrilla here is crazy. Last time I was here, I think it was in March last year, and there wasn't any of this. I mean, there was a little bit of grass, but it's mostly eelgrass, and you could fish close up to the bank and catch them, and they were like wadded there. You can't even get up in there. So, and the water's so clear, I think it kind of spooks them. But I never really found anything on the graphs that was significant. I mean, you pull out and it'd be like, is that grass or is? And it was all 2D, nothing on 3D. You go to some lakes and your 3D and your side imaging looks really good, looks really clear. Here it doesn't. I guess it's, and I know there's a lot of hard bottom because especially through this canal, you can see the shell. It's all sand, I'm sure, but you just didn't see them wadded out. I think they're in that funky stage in between the spawn where they're just kind of, and you would see schooling every once in a while, but when you went out there, you wouldn't see fish. So it was pretty crazy the way they're not kind of stacked up, but it's pretty much what I'm seeing everywhere. And like I was saying, I mean, you'd see fish off, but you'd be going, is that grass or is that fish? And then you see some separation from the bottom or the bottom layer of grass, and you'd know it was fish, but was it bait? It just didn't seem to respond. And I'm guessing the wind was ripping better. We could have probably isolated them in certain areas. The wind just kind of helps you zero in on where they're probably going to be, where the fish are going to be isolated or focused, where that wind's blowing, when it's coming off of a drop or off the point, and you can kind of isolate where they would be. But with the lack of wind and the clear water, I really feel like these fish are just roaming. The tilapia are still spawning everywhere, deep and shallow. I felt like the bass were on the outside edges of these grass and about 13 feet, where it ended and where it turned and where the points were. I felt like there was, I saw one, I saw a bed, and I kind of feel like that's what they were doing. But working those edges, you weren't really getting a lot of bites. You were getting some bites. So I don't know. Hope that helps you guys. But we are out. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe for me. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time on Be Nice Fishing.